We need more movies that star women talking to each other.
What stood out about the script or maybe even the book for both of you to come onto this project?
Like how strongly reading the book and the script made me react, like how deeply I felt it in my bones, that kind of, because Tess's style of writing is so evocative, and like the things that she describes are so visceral. It just felt like something, like I could feel the character, I don't know, coming to life.
How monstrous things can be despite having a very pretty surface.
I'm curious about how do you both go about researching roles like this when you do have a book and a screenplay by the same person? And are there other questions that you or conversations you had with her about the story?
Thomasin did an unbelievable amount of research. I think this is the most wonderful thing that you did.
What I did was, I just talked about it so many times, so I feel like it's silly. But I'm very proud of it again, because it's what I enjoy. Is like part of filmmaking that I enjoy the most. Is I like having the book was such an incredible resource, and I took the book and I read through it and I highlighted sentences, words, and phrases, observations, everything that were made about Eileen, about how Eileen felt about herself, how she felt about Rebecca, how she felt about Mrs. Polk, Mr. Polk, her dad, the women working with her at the prison, everyone, and all the comments made about the environment where she was working, where she'd grown up, her relationships, everything. I took all of that and I put it into a document, and I organized it into categories. And then I sent that document off to a clinical psychologist who had previously worked in a prison, and she helped me to decipher what was going on with Eileen. And she shared with me stories of her experience working at a prison, and prisons are typically, she was working at a juvenile prison. It was a boys' prison, and it was a very male dominated environment, and so how she had felt working in that kind of environment. So she had some really incredible insights, and also talking to a prison secretary and like getting to hear stories of what she had been exposed to in that job, and how she managed that job and working in an environment that's not necessarily a happy one. Yeah, just like trying to hear real stories about those real experiences. Like Eileen and Rebecca were so different because they had different levels of experience and were from different places, different environments, had different opportunities. Like they just were different. So I didn't think to have an eye out for that really. I was thinking about the fact that Eileen wanted to be as similar to Rebecca as she possibly could, because she was so like infatuated with her and in love with her.
The thing that was unusual was seeing a female character be able to explore the grotesque. That's not really something that a lot of space is made for. That's not, and to explore a sense of violence and what could release it.
Did she say anything to you, Mrs. Polk?
She was just upset. Those mothers are always upset.
Does she seem like an angry woman to you?
I don't know. Everyone's kind of angry here. It's Massachusetts.
I think it was Alicia Vikander, and she was talking about she'd done 5 or 6 movies in a row and she hadn't had another scene with another woman yet. And I was just thinking,
all of those movies.
Yeah, I think this was around like Tomb Raider and some of that. That was what I was thinking about it, because obviously these are 2 great roles for female characters to play. So I'm curious if you any thoughts on that.
We need more movies that star women talking to each other.
I hope I don't have to go that long without acting against another woman.
I think that what you're talking about, that was something that I came to realize on the set of Ocean's 8. And I was just on set and I just looked around and I realized that there was just a shorthand of experience, despite us all being individuals and respecting that.
Mm.
And I just remember thinking, oh, in a film set, this is what it's like to be a guy, to be a majority. And I think what we're all seeking is balance and openness and inclusivity and all of those yummy things. But for right now, for the time being, it still can be seen as an outlier.
Mm.
But it's important not to behave as though it's an outlier, because it's just a character and it's just a scene.
I saw a compilation the other day of a series that I can't remember what series it was, and I probably shouldn't say what series it was anyway, but it was like the compilation was all the times in which two women appeared on screen and talked to each other in the show. And the compilation was like a millisecond long, because maybe people are scared to put multiple women in a room because they might become too powerful. I think it like Anne said, it shouldn't be something that is like effortful and unusual. It should just be like 50% of the world is women. So why is that not represented on screen?
Any advice for young actresses coming up today about getting noticed or entering the business, or any advice you'd like to pass on?
I think when you're first starting out, it's easy to get caught up in the sturm and drang of a set or any chatter or, I don't know, in conversation. But let's say you've been noticed, and let's say there's a lot of energy coming your way. You need to be able to forget about all of that between action and cut, because that's what really matters. And your ability to concentrate and lift off, do what we all feel very called to do. That's the part where it really matters. So I would just say feed yourself with everything, all the culture you can get your hands on, every great performance from every type of actor. If you can afford it, download the Criterion Collection and just get like on weird movies.